Welcome back, everyone. Brianna here from the Lockport YMCA with another TRX Moves of the Week at Home edition. So we are going to be working on some yoga poses with our at-home TRX. So it's so important that we stretch out the muscles that we are working, but with some of these poses, we're also going to be strength building to prepare our bodies for certain yoga poses that you could do in a typical yoga class. So the first one I want to do is just a basic hip hinge. So there's two different levels with the hip hinge. You can certainly start at level 2, which would mean that your feet are shoulders width apart, our palms are face down, and we're going to hip hinge, hinging forward, okay, pulling that belly button to spine, pressing down into our hands, and you're going to feel a nice stretch along the backs of your legs here. And again, feel free to walk your feet backwards if you want to get deeper into that stretch. Allow your head to fall in between your hands, reaching your fingertips forward, but maintaining that pressure into your straps. And again, always maintain soft knees here. And then slowly coming up out of that hip hinge. Now, if you wanted to progress this to a level 2, you would center one foot, and we're going to send one leg back as we come into that hip hinge. So again, as we push that chest forward, we're going to lift our leg up, okay? And find length through our fingertips and our toes. And again, if you don't feel like you're in the right spot, take a step back or forward from your anchor point, find that hip hinge again. So now we're coming into that single leg hip hinge. Holding here for about 20 to 30 seconds. So we're finding length for our thoracic spine and our lower spine, but also strength building that standing leg. And then pull that knee forward. And obviously what you do to one side, you always want to do to the other side, so you would center that leg and hip hinge to the other side. Finding balance, finding length. And then again, holding that for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay? We're then going to flow into a back bend. All right? So this is not something you want to go right into off the bat, but it's a huge trust exercise, so make sure you do have a very sturdy anchor point, because we are trusting all of our weight into our anchor point for this back bend. So we're standing hip width distance, and we're going to just release our hands, release our chest, walk our feet forward, and belly, let your chest fall open. Push that belly up, and find your back bend. Find your release, and slowly come out of this. So again, that is a major trust exercise, but if you're comfortable with your at-home TRX system, I encourage you to try it. It feels so great. It's just a nice release through your chest and back, all right? But let's turn things around. We're going to go into a crescent pose. So remember that single leg lunge that we worked on last week? So we're going to incorporate that into our crescent pose. So we're going to slide our foot in, feet are face down to our floor, okay? We're going to find balance. So you need to make sure you can find that balance in that reverse lunge first before you can flow into your crescent pose. So we're going to send that leg back, all right? Find your lunge. So once you feel comfortable here, again, keep your hands in heart center, or send the arms up into crescent, and that's where it gets its name from this C pose. Holding here for 20-30 seconds, you're really opening the hip flexor here, but strength building that front leg. Holding here, and then again, coming up, and make sure what you do to one side, you always do to the other side, so you'd switch over there. All right? Another strength building yoga pose that I like to do is a TRX plank. Lots of planks done in TRX yoga if you've ever taken the class. So, front plank, hands are right by our hips. Our back is to our anchor point. And we're going to come into that Frogger, that TRX Frogger. So we did that last week again. So you come down, drop into that TRX Frogger. We send up and we push up, keeping the elbows in close to our sides. And then lower down and sink back into that TRX Frogger. So this pose is not only strength building our core and our back, but it's also strength building our biceps and triceps to get us ready for those chaturangas that we do in any yoga class. It can be TRX yoga or a beginner yoga. So down, again, TRX Frogger, coming up, pushing away from our handles, and dropping down. All right, And we have one more for you. Our last one is going to be a triangle twist. So we're going to be facing our anchor pose or our anchor point for this one. We're stepping 1 foot forward and we're sending one leg back, and that leg that's going back is going to be at a 45-degree angle. Okay, so we're here. This front leg is going to straighten a bit for our triangle pose. We're going to send our hands forward, similar to what we did in our hip hinge. And then we're going to turn and rotate the hand, the same hand that our front leg is up, and we're going to find a nice gentle twist. So we're lengthening our arms, feeling that nice stretch in that front leg. Exhale, coming down. And again, you can hold this, or you can just find some flow. But remember, what you do to one side, you want to do to the other. So you would send the other leg back, rotate about 45 degrees, straighten the front leg, hinge forward, pressing down with our palms, and then rotate towards that front leg. So there is your triangle twist. And gently come back. And one more time, exhale. And inhale. So try out those 5 beautiful strength building yoga poses. Let me know how you do, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.